Hello, everybody. Welcome to this is day three of the what we're calling the 550 500 event. 5 days of live streams to celebrate my 50th birthday at the end of the month, and to raise $500 in pledges for the Just Bernard channel. I'm here today. Well, let me tell you a little bit about this week so far, in case you've missed it. On Monday, we did a meditation class, an interactive meditation class, and of course, you can catch the archive of that in the video section here. Whether you're on YouTube or on Facebook, the archives are there as well, of course, on my Patreon page. Yesterday, we had the Crystal Crone herself, Beverly Johnson, was here talking about crystal energy, how to take care of crystals, what makes crystals, and the scientific and the metaphysical qualities of crystals. That was a great talk. As well, Beverly and I are going to be doing a real time, how do you call it, on the ground, real time, in real life workshop together this Saturday here in Roanoke, Virginia. If you're in the area, please, you're welcome to come join us at the Roanoke Diversity Center on Saturday at 7 o'clock. And today is my third day doing a live stream, 3 out of 5. Today we're just going to be doing a quick chat. I wanted to be able to spend some time with everybody and take some of your questions in reference to the awakening, in reference to your meditation, whatever it is that you want to ask me. Today is the day to do that, and I just wanted to hang out with everybody. Let me pull up my Facebook page to see if I can see you all. At least be able to read your comments in the chat. Hi, Danny Ortiz from New York. Right on. Welcome. Good to see you. So to get the ball rolling, let me just tell you a little bit about what's been going on. I did this afternoon. Actually, it was really nice. I got to spend some time talking with my dear friend and one of my favorite luminaries doing this work around the world. Miriam Delicato and I were able to chat for a little bit. As well, earlier this afternoon, I was chatting on Facebook with Patricia Ayan from the Kemetic School in Egypt, and she is going to be on the show. I believe it's going to be July 11th, so keep an eye out for that. We just talked a little bit about what we're going to do, and Patricia will be on the show the second week in July. Next week, next Tuesday here on the Just Bernard show, which is usually every Tuesday instead of every day. Next Tuesday, I'm going to have a shamanic teacher and author, Gwilda Wiyaka, is going to be on the show on Tuesday, and that's at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So it's it's 4:20 right now. It's 4:20, so whatever time it is that you're watching this, 2 hours earlier than that is when Gwilda will be on. What else did I want to say? Oh, and I still haven't decided what I'm going to do for my birthday, the 27th or the 4th, really, because they're both on Tuesdays. So I don't know if I'm going to be broadcasting those days. I just want to let everybody know. I'm still thinking about what I want to do with as far as that's concerned. I do want to thank everybody. You all have been really supportive, and I'm really grateful with the donations and the pledges that we're getting. Like I said, we were up to 237 in monthly pledges to support the Just Bernard channel. Of course, you know, we have the Facebook page here. We have the YouTube channel with, I believe we have like over 400 videos there of classes, of seminars, of interviews with authors and teachers, and of course my own consciousness talks and for lack of a better, yeah, consciousness talks. That's what I like to call them. So that's on there too. Hi, Kathy from El Paso. Thank you so much for being here. And I think I just saw my kitty go in the background there. Well, not my kitty. It's actually my roommate's cat. But so anyway, that's what's going on. We've got a lot of interesting stuff coming up over the next couple of weeks. We've got some great guests coming on, and I'm really excited about that. What else has been happening? Geez, well, why don't you guys tell me what's happening? What's going on with you? Let me know. Let me know in the comments below. I'm going to be here for about, I'm hoping for about another 25 minutes. I have to head on over. As many of you might or might not know, I am also the chairman of the Diversity Center here in Roanoke, and I got to head on over there in a little bit for a quick meeting. But hopefully I'll just be relaxing the rest of the day. Today Wednesday is usually my day off, but because because I've got so much going on this week, it's like, well, I'll take half a day. So this is the beginning of my day, so I get to spend the beginning of my day with you, which I love, and I love these. I love being able to communicate and just chat with you live like this. So please let me know if you have any questions. I'll keep checking. Oh, let's see. What do we have here? That's a great, well, a great concern. Andre, hello. Andre is saying that they've been suffering from extreme anxiety because of fear of death. That's a really big, how shall I say, a very common obstacle that many of us have, especially on this path. I guess my only answer to that is until we remove that fear of death, we are stuck in fear. And what I mean by that is that if we look, and actually it's interesting because I'm bringing Patricia Ayan on in a couple of weeks, and she's the one that actually talks about this quite a bit, how in ancient cultures, in ancient Egypt, for example, there was no concept of death. And in many of the ancient mystical traditions, there is no concept of death. The ancient Egyptians used to call it westing. You know, their soul would go to the west. They'd move on to the next level. We're starting to see that now, thank goodness, with the new spiritual movement and whatnot, that we're realizing that energy is, and we know this, energy is everlasting. It's either creating or reducing, growing or shrinking, but energy never dies. Energy just takes on a new form. The same thing can be said with consciousness. We're seeing more and more now, especially in the quantum mechanics and those that are doing research in the quantum field of physics, that there, I believe it was recently, maybe about 6 months ago, a gentleman had discovered that our consciousness moves to another dimension when we leave this body, which I found to be very, very interesting. Um, One of the analogies that I like to use with death, and I've used this before, and maybe you all have heard it, it's from the movie The Little Buddha. I don't know if you've all ever seen that, but it's a really fantastic movie with the life of Siddhartha, and it's also dealing with, in modern times, people searching for a Lama. But anyway, the one guy was talking to one of the Lamas, the father of the child who they thought was a Lama, and he doesn't believe any of it, and he's not going to have it. And he's like, yeah, in reincarnation, I can't believe in that. And the Lama picks up a cup of tea, and he goes, you see this? He goes, in here is tea. And the guy's like, yeah, so it's a cup of tea. And so the Lama breaks it against the table. He's like, and now the cup is broken, but it's still tea. The tea is on the table. The tea is running down the side onto the floor. It's dripping on the floor, but it's still tea, even though it's not in the container. That was a great analogy for me when it comes to the idea of our consciousness, of our soul. Why, you know, I can get into a whole discussion about why we can't remember our past lives, or why we choose not to remember our past lives. I'm still wrapping my head around that, and quite honestly, I believe it's there for a reason, in order for us to evolve, so we don't get stuck in our memories, because the reality of it is that human beings love to dwell in the past and everything we did wrong or everything we did right. So maybe it's like a universal safeguard with that. But for someone like myself who has had out of body experiences, a near death experience, a shamanic experience, that whole idea of the other world is very real to me. Being able to see through the veil, and knowing that this is literally a psychological construct, for lack of a better term. This world is the illusion. This world is made up of thoughts. It's not necessarily it's not necessarily real, but it's real to us at the moment, if that makes sense. Many indigenous cultures around the world actually believe that the dream world is the real world, and that this is the illusion. It's a basic foundation for Buddhist thought and philosophy. So the idea that that we must be afraid of death, I don't think I like the idea, and I'm not looking forward to the process of dying or transitioning. I like to use the word transitioning, but for me, I know for a fact that what's on the other side is real, and it's beautiful, and we just keep evolving. Energy just keeps moving and moving and moving. Ah, you like that one? Universal safeguard. Yep. One of the things I will suggest though is for those of us that are still afraid of death, there is a wonderful book that I recommend to everybody. It's a Tibet. It's actually called the Tibetan Book of Living and Dying by Sogyal Rinpoche. Rinpoche. The Tibetan Book of Living and Dying, not the Tibetan Book of Dying, the Tibetan Book of Living and Dying, and he really explains the whole concept of transitioning and how our body moves into another realm of consciousness, and that there is no fear of death. But very interesting stuff. So I highly recommend that to you, Andre and Juan, that are keeping up with this conversation. Anyway, so I wanted to remind everybody that today is day 3 of the 550, 500 events. What we're doing is we're trying to raise $500 a month in pledges to support the production, the content, the editing, all the stuff on the YouTube channel. We've got over 400 videos there, I believe. If not, we're getting close to that. And as you know, YouTube has pulled all their funding from us, and we're turning to our supporters to help us recoup and be able to continue doing the work that we do here on social media, on YouTube, on my website, etc., etc., on the radio. Anyway, if you can go to patreon.com/Bernard Alvarez. I'm going to post that here right now. Let's see if I can do that right. www.patreon.com/Bernard Alvarez. And what's cool is, did it work? Yes. Okay. Very good. What's cool is we have different levels. I mean, just you can pledge as little as $2 a month and be able to get some access to some patron-only stuff. I do have a webinar on there that's available to all my patrons. I don't know if it's listed in the rewards, but it is a webinar on actually overcoming fear and moving into acceptance and allowing happiness into our life. So that might go very well with what we were talking about. But that's available. That is strictly, it's not on YouTube, it's not on my website. That webinar is strictly for my patrons over at patreon.com/Bernard Alvarez. And there's all kinds of other goodies there. I have like full-length shows that nobody's seen. I've got MP3s of my shows that you can download and take with you. I believe there's other archives that are not available anywhere else. So there's a lot of exclusive content that I've been creating strictly just for the patreon.com/Bernard Alvarez, my tribe, and you guys are my tribe. You're the ones that really help me, really motivate me. Oh, thank you, Danny. But anyway, so yeah, it's listed in the comments below if you don't see it there. Anyway, so let me see what's coming up on Thursday. Tomorrow I have a surprise, and I haven't decided what the surprise is going to be. I don't know if I want to teach another class, one that I would normally charge for, maybe do another free class, or I'm thinking maybe bringing the party over to YouTube. Poor YouTube, I never get over there anymore, and I just almost knocked over my water. I never get over to YouTube much anymore because I'm always on here answering questions and emails and messages and whatnot. But I don't know if you guys know, but we're distributed, for lack of a better term. We distribute the videos. I distribute the videos not only here on Facebook, but on YouTube, on VidMe. So find me on VidMe. That's vid.me. You can find some stuff there that you might not find anywhere else, as well as minds.com, which is like the new free speech version of Facebook. And actually, Bill Ottman, I believe him and I and a whole bunch of other people, we used to work on exposing the truth. 10 years ago or 8 years ago, we all started on social media together, and they started minds.com, which is really cool. So I'm on there as well. What else can I think of what's going on? Oh, and again, yeah, this weekend, if you're in Roanoke, I am going to be doing a seminar here called Crystals and Your Higher Consciousness. It's a live on the ground seminar. I'm hoping that in a little while, when I say a little while, maybe a few weeks or whatnot, I'd like the Crystal Crone and I to do it online together. We're trying to get the technical aspects all worked out. As usual, these things cost money, which is why we're asking for support to help with the production of the shows that we do in the classes. But yeah, I want to be able to bring her on, and we're actually, I am lining up other teachers like myself, but those that might specialize in other things that you might be interested in, like crystals, or recently we had, oh geez, I'm going to forget his name now. Graham, geez, I'm going to forget. Anyway, we were talking about astral projection, and he came on and talked about that. Forgive me, my mind is like 8,000 different things going on today. Maybe I should meditate right now. Maybe we all need to meditate. Take a breath. But it's exciting. I mean, this work for me is really exciting. I get excited about consciousness. I get excited about being able to talk with you guys, to be able to share my experience. I've been doing this now, well, this incarnation of it, social media, teaching, radio, etc., for about 10 years now, a little over 10 years now. But I've been involved in metaphysics for most of my life. I got involved in magic and meditation and whatnot in my late teens, and went through the whole initiation process in my 20s, and a few more in my 30s. Wow. That's interesting. And unfortunately, I don't know much about that, Danny. Thank you. Sleep paralysis. That has happened to me maybe 3 times in my life. I find that to be more of a, for me, it's a physiological thing. I don't know what causes it. It has happened to me though. Usually it's happening when there's a nightmare. Well, I'll be like screaming for help, and I feel like my eyes are open and I can't scream for help. But unfortunately, I don't know much about sleep paralysis, but I believe it's pretty common, more common than people believe, or more common than people know. Uh, on that note, though, I will say that I've been having some really amazing lucid dreams lately. And I don't know if it's because we're coming up to the full moon. As you all know, Friday is the full moon. But I've been, I don't know if anybody else experiences this, but let me share this with you. When I dream, when I go into a lucid dream, it's almost as if I'm going back to the same world, which goes back to that whole concept of that this world is the illusion. I always end up at the same place with, spiritual people or light beings, or, you know, metaphysical spiritual temples, and just really this beautiful land of wise people, and they're all teaching me, and we're teaching each other. And it just seems that I keep going back there on a regular basis. Just Monday, I had a wonderful dream where I met a new guide, for lack of a better term, and maybe she is a new guide. She called herself an avatar or something like that, and she was talking about the work that needed to be done on the planet at this time, and that's why I felt that it was a spirit guide, because that's what my experience that started all this was about. And I can't help but wonder, and I haven't asked them, if the guides that contacted me back in 1992, was this a representation of one of them? But so I need to ask my spirit guides, what was that all about? Speaking of spirit guides, yes, I do have that course out, and I think I'm going to be adding more stuff to it. So if you sign up for the course, you'll be able to get all the new, how should we call them, modules, chapters, lessons that are going to be coming into that. I believe it's called How to Communicate with Your Higher Self and Your Spirit Guides. And that particular course, I'm handling it differently than you might see people that do this type of work. It's not very fluffy. I don't, you know me, I'm very blunt. I don't do fluffy. I like realistic, experiential spirituality. I don't believe in making believe I felt something. No, I need to feel it. I need to see it. I need to touch it. I don't believe in, well, how shall we say? I don't have faith. I have experience, as Joseph Campbell used to say. And so the course is very down to earth in that sense that I teach you the differences between your ego speaking to you versus your higher self versus your spirit guide, and to be able to tell the difference. And it's a very subtle difference, but it takes training and it takes practice to be able to begin that dialogue with the higher self, which I feel is the gateway to, source, spirit, the spirit world, or, angels, whatever. There's so many different types of spirit guides. There's animal totems, there's angels, there are the fae folk, if that's what you want to call it, the elementals. Um, there are transdimensional entities like I've been lucky enough to communicate with, light beings. There are ETs. I mean, there's all different types of spirit guides. Your ancestors, as another example. But anyway, in this particular course, I kind of like it's the beginning of learning to communicate. It's not an advanced course. I made it so anybody could check it out. But you go to my website and check that out, bernardalvarez.com, if you want to learn how to connect with your higher self and your spirit guides. I have an interesting question from Australia. I'd like to know your opinion, advice on the spiritual side of infertility. I haven't found a lot of information on it. Immediately, I can't help but feel, and I know this is probably going to be an umbrella answer that most people, it might sound cliche, and I don't mean to sound cliche, but while I do believe that we have complete free will, that we make the choices, that we create our reality, I also believe that there's a certain level of universal, how shall I say, experiences or environments that we create in order for us to evolve or to experience what we need to experience in this particular lifetime. So, for example, if we're talking about infertility, um, first of all, let me just say that anything is possible, and that just because someone is having infertility issues at this time doesn't mean it can't change in the future. But I am the kind of metaphysician, spiritual person that believes in reading the universe. If the universe, uh, for example, I meet a new friend, and every time I go to walk over to their house, it starts raining, and I can't walk over there, and it happens over and over and over again. Eventually, I'm going to be like, well, the universe is trying to tell me something. It's a simple, it's just being aware of how the universal consciousness is trying to communicate with you. So if we're having issues, maybe it's just saying it's not the time right now. Um, I do believe that everything does happen for a reason. I know that sounds cliche, and I'm sorry if that does sound cliche, but I would probably, if I were going to explore, well, any issue, any obstacle with health or anything, for anybody, I would want to explore what is it in me. Is there any kind of energy blockage versus medical? What energy blockage might I be, well, blocking? What could be the obstacle that is not allowing this energy to flow through? Because I do believe everything is energy. I believe we are vessels of chi, ki, reiki, prana, universal life force energy, whatever you want to call it. And that when certain things are out of balance within our physical body, just like in Eastern medicine, the belief is that there's an imbalance and some kind of block. So maybe go to an energy healer, go to an acupuncturist. Maybe they can see if there's any blockages or something like that. But I do feel that physical manifestations, physical obstacles and whatnot are usually a manifestation of something of a greater realm that's trying to nudge us and guide us in the right direction. Oh, I just lost you guys. Sorry. Let me find you again. And I lost the chat. Hey, okay, there you are. Right on. Sorry. Anyway, I got about 5 more minutes, guys. I gotta get going, but if you please, jump in. If you wanna, if you'd like to ask a question, this is the time to do it. If you missed this, by the way, I am available for a private one-on-one if you want. I do everything from a quick 15-minute chat to answer your immediate questions. If you'd like a Reiki session or a Tarot session, I also do spiritual mentoring. If you're looking for a one-on-one teacher, tutor, mentor, I'm available for that as well. And of course, all this stuff is at my website, bernardalvarez.com. But I'm really excited the way things are going. You're very welcome. Danny, I'm in Roanoke, Virginia, in case nobody realizes. Uh, it's funny, so many people come in usually at the middle of a show or at the middle of a show or the end of the show. But it does say Roanoke, Virginia at the beginning of the show, even though this show we didn't have the intro play. But the intro, it does say the Star City in Roanoke, Virginia. And by the way, it's beautiful here. Who would have thought that someone? I grew up on Miami Beach. I'm a beach bum. I was adopted by a Cuban family. Yes, I have Native American. My mother was Native American. My father was Irish, but I was adopted by a Cuban family, and I grew up on Miami Beach. And everyone's like, "Why would you move to the Appalachian Mountains?" It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And Roanoke is like, it's like Portland in the mountains. Well, the Atlantic version of Portland. It's very, very cool. There's a lot of spirituality, a lot of beautiful, a lot of beautiful people and activists here, and we got metaphysical chapels everywhere, and I love it. Thank you, Danny. Yes, I do house calls, but I do them through Skype. I do them through Skype. But yes, by all means, I do. Again, I do sessions via Skype and online. I'm researching the idea. I don't know how I feel about this of doing Reiki certifications online, and I know everyone's doing that now. I don't know how I feel about that yet, but I'm thinking maybe I'll do the workshops and not do the attunement. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out a way to be able to teach Reiki. I want to have as many healers and light people out there as possible, even if it's just the method of using Reiki without doing the attunement. I'm still iffy about online attunement, so we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll meet a master that knows how to do it better across the internet than I do, or to make me feel comfortable doing it, I should say. And yes, I am actually going to be teaching a Reiki 2 workshop at the end of July at the Roanoke Diversity Center here in Virginia. Um, anyway, so we're going to be doing a lot of, like I said, I'm going to be doing a lot of workshops here on the ground. By all means, come visit me. I mean, Roanoke is a beautiful, beautiful city. Hotels are maybe $40, $50 a night. It's not that bad. And you can come get your Reiki certification or come to one of the other workshops that I do here in Roanoke. And yes, I will be doing more and more of them online. We just put out the first course, communicating with your higher self and your spirit guide. So by all means, you can go to my website and check that out. And I just want to remind everybody that this is day 2 or day 3 of the 550 500 pledge-a-thon to celebrate 5 days of live streams. My half a freaking century on this planet. I can't believe I'm 50. I will be 50 June 27th. And we are here to raise $500 in pledges to support the Just Bernard channel and Just Bernard broadcasting classes, courses, and seminars, the free ones. And that's what keeps them free, is by people helping to support and help me produce them. That way I can release them to everybody and not have to charge for it. I do charge for certain classes, but like I said, I've only got one course I'm charging for right now online. But anyway, I love you guys. I got to get going. I've got to head over to the Diversity Center now, and I will see you all tomorrow. I do have a surprise tomorrow, and again, I don't know what the surprise is going to be. But I thank you so much for your constant support, and I'm glad that we've made a connection. I'm glad that anything that I can do to help you with your questions, your awakening, your spiritual path, your sacred activist path. Activism is just as important. Inner activism and outer activism is what I like to look at it. If we're working on the inside, we can also work on the outside. That's why I call it sacred activism. We're working within to help the world outside of us as well. Anyway, I love you all, and I will see you tomorrow, probably around this time, most likely. So I'll see you then. And don't forget, Friday is the full moon. I'm going to be doing it earlier, about 2 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be doing a full moon ceremony meditation here on Friday, and that'll be the last day of the 5-day of live streams. In the meantime, please do head on over to patreon.com/Bernard Alvarez. See a level. Maybe you want to be a sponsor on one of the radio shows or something like that. We have anything from $2 to $200, and everyone gets a free gift, several free gifts, as a matter of fact. Anyway, I love you. Thank you so much for all of your support, and I'll see you soon.